and creepy here, and I know I'm using this poor microphone, but there are reasons for that I won't get into for this. So today we're going to be looking at a video from Latina Parfait. I don't know if I said that right, but I don't know how to pronounce stuff all the time. About Melanie Miku, titled Melanie Miku calls Nintendo and gamers transphobic. We need more representation. You'll see why that title is stupid soon enough.
Like it's wrong today. This blatant transphobia doesn't get passed from me at any capacity. Like, they confirm her to 100% be a transgender woman in the most painfully transphobic way possible.
Clown! That's right, I'm clown. I'm like, Pennywise the clown! We all float down here!
Going on with her gender. That is until we get to the Japanese release of the game. Gotta love Japan's transphobia, woohoo!
The problem I have with this part of the video is simply that they are poisoning the well, and they are opening up by insulting the person. And also, personally, I find it really cringe that they use a really outdated video of a liberal crying.
I know I already put a disclaimer, but I might need to put up a second one. Don't go out hating on Melanie Miku, and remember, the LGBT are people just like us, you and me. Or I mean, something like that, I don't fucking know.
Real talk.
But anyways, I was on YouTube and randomly got recommended this video by Melanie Miku called Transgender Representation in Gaming, A Brief History. You know, with a title like that, a title that good, we can already infer this is going to be one of the best videos of all time.
C-A-P!
Are you going to explain why this video makes it sound so amazing you say in a sarcastic tone? Because obviously this person doesn't tell us why the title alone is bad. I'm assuming it's because it has to do with trans stuff. Because the whole title of the video that we are responding to is, oh, we need more representation for Melanie Miku, as if they're asking for more representation, while in reality they are talking about the representation we already have.
Especially when the thumbnail has Birdo, a character who literally is not trans.
Do you mind telling us why Birdo isn't trans? Because a lot of the readings of the character of Birdo make her sound trans. Mostly because in the original game, they say that she is a man pretending to be a woman. Well, nowadays, we would just call that a trans woman. Of course, as we're going to see, this person shows the video part where Melanie Miku explains that. So why are you bringing this up?
And also Vivian from Paper Mario, which you guessed correctly is also not trans.
Once again, you showed the clip of Melanie Miku explaining this later in the video. Also, for both of these, you're just wrong.
Let's get to it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
I do really love how the trans community will literally grab at any crumbs with, any crumbs with their, crusty, grimy paws that they possibly can for those representation points. Like, seriously though, have we fallen so far as a society that we now think Birdo, a character who dresses up as a girl, is now trans?
Well, the thing is, that's what we used to say. But now with modern Nintendo stuff, we just refer to her as she, her pronouns, meaning that we have acknowledged her gender identity. Although technically we probably should be referring to her as a feminine name like Birdie or Birdetta, like she would prefer in the original games. Now they just call her Birdo, so maybe it's not her dead name. It's kind of confusing. They don't really talk about the subject anymore.
Hey, guess what, Jessica? You know your kid Timmy, right? Has he ever tried like putting on your clothes or ever picked up a Barbie doll? Wait, what? He has? Well, Jessica, it looks like your kid is now fucking trans, alright? Time to go get the surgery.
Strawman alert!
Also, if it wasn't obvious enough, this is a person who throws around the homophobic and transphobic card like it's nothing.
You gonna show proof for that? Oh, of course not.
Let's take a look at this shit, and when I say shit, I mean amazing, beautiful video.
You ain't funny.
Transgender representation in media has always been a troubling topic.
Yeah, I know, we aren't even 5 seconds in yet, and we're already stopping the video. Okay, now I just want to say, I am not transphobic, I am not scared of trans people, okay? Okay?
That's not the definition of transphobia, and you know that very well. Transphobia is being bigoted towards trans people.
However, let me just say this has got to be one of the most ugliest stills I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, did you even try to make her look feminine?
Yes, that's why she's wearing a nightgown, which is usually seen as a more feminine thing.
This straight up looks like a cross between Chris Chan.
I have a boyfriend. Tell me why I'm stuck as a virgin with Red.
And My Little Pony, like if they had some mentally challenged baby together.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Did you just say, oh, he's right, to a clip of yourself? You are pathetic. I'm sorry, that's like an insult, but like, that's just pathetic. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Like, real talk.
Also, am I just a fully functioning retard?
Yes.
Or like what? Because she put they/she in their like pronouns or whatever. Is that even a thing? Like, I'm serious. I thought it was they/them.
Of course it's a thing. If it wasn't a thing, why would someone be doing it in the first place? Because that brings it into existence. Anyway, it just simply means a non-binary person who is fine with being referred to as she/her. For the most part, that's what those pronouns usually mean. Of course, identity and gender are complex thoughts, and they can change on an individual basis.
In more recent years, sometimes we get absolutely fantastic trans representation, both in-depth or just casually. Characters that help truly normalize the idea of being transgender.
These aren't my words, okay? I'm just quoting a very based YouTuber named Poncho. Okay, YouTube, these aren't my words. Poncho said, why would I hate on somebody who is delusional?
When somebody says the word transphobe or transphobic, you usually think of somebody hating trans people, and that's just stupid.
You do agree with Poncho, though, because you called him based, which means he's correct. Oh, also, here's a clip of Poncho saying that Jews made up trans people.
You know who started the idea of transgenderism?
Who started it, Poncho?
I'm gonna just put the emoji in chat.
What?
That's who started them.
And then we have the majority of transgender representation. Pandering, poorly written, played up for jokes in a harmful way, or just shoehorned in.
Yeah, that's right, you guys. You can't make fun of trans people or gay people or joke about them at all because, you know, they are a protected class. But you can make fun of straight people as much as you want.
Now remind me, which one of those groups is being attacked by the government in the United States of America?
She'll shoot eggs out of her mouth, and you'll have to land on them and then throw them back at her. However, for details about her being transgender, you have to check the manual for the game. Birdo's entry in the enemies section of the manual goes as follows. He thinks he is a girl, and he spits eggs from his mouth. He'd rather be called Birdetta. Jesus Christ, poor Birdetta. Yeah, this is gonna be a trend from here on out. Trans representation being played up for laughs.
He thinks he is a girl and spits eggs from his mouth. He'd rather be called Birdetta. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, woman. Trying to be trans inclusive here to my fellow sister.
Like, real talk.
But yeah, that doesn't mean Birdo is trans, like, at all. At this point, anybody can think they are the other sex, and what? Now they are trans?
Yes, how do you think that works? Like, do you think they just are forced to be trans? Like, what?
That's not how it fucking works. You actually need to get the surgery and all that other shit before you become transgender.
Oh, they're a trans medicalist. Well, anyway, you don't have to get surgery to be trans. You just need to believe you're trans.
Maybe this is like too sensitive of a topic for all the handicapped people out there, and Queen Parfait is going to be canceled. I don't know anything but that.
I understand this was a different time. 1988 was a far less accepting time, but I don't really care. It was wrong then, just like it's wrong today.
Bro, like, what are you even getting offended at this point?
The blatant misgendering of a trans woman. That's what she's getting mad at.
Nintendo being transphobes in the 80s? You're getting offended over a literal manual from a game that's like almost 40 years old at this point, saying something as tame as he thinks he is a girl and he spits eggs from his mouth. He'd rather be called Birdetta? Like, really? You're getting this butthurt over that?
No, all she was doing was saying, hey, this is kind of messed up because she's going through a history of trans representation, so she's going to be talking about the actual history starting from the beginning.
Like, this is a new low of patheticness. Well, is that a word? I don't fucking know. Maybe I'm just stupid. But seriously, this is 100% the type of person who would have a mental breakdown, freak out in a Walmart when she is in the checkout line and the cashier is like, will this be everything for you, sir? And she is like, it's ma'am.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
The cashier is like, oh, sorry, sir. Can you calm down a little bit? Like, you're causing a scene right now. And then Melanie is like, God damn it, call me sir one more time and I'll show you a fucking sir. Then assaults the poor innocent Walmart worker trying to just do her job for a minimum wage, putting up with retard customers all day, and is just trying to feed her children.
I'm honestly just impressed about how specific that was.
This blatant transphobia doesn't get past me at any capacity.
I don't think Nintendo's looking for your validation. Sorry, not sorry.
She wasn't doing that for validation.
Like, they confirm her to 100% be a transgender woman in the most painfully transphobic way possible. Later games kinda downplay the fact that she's trans, but never retcon it. Some games would just try to avoid referencing her gender at all. Sometimes she's referred to as being of indeterminate gender, but overall her gender identity has been downplayed.
Is it really that big of a deal though? Birdo is like a side Nintendo character and is pretty much only in the spin-offs aside from like SM2, but I guess you need to let the entire world know how transphobic Nintendo is though, right? Right? Well, I guess slay, queen.
Actually, I think the reason why she brought up this character is because this is a history of trans representation in video games. It'd be weird to leave the beginning out of it.
In 2004, Nintendo finally had a chance to redeem themselves after the problems with Birdo in 1988. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door features the character Vivian. In the Western release of the game, her sisters will joke about her being ugly and the least desirable of the three sisters. But nothing to really indicate anything funky going on with her gender. That is, until we get to the Japanese release of the game. Gotta love Japan's transphobia, woohoo!
I'm playing a woodwind instrument. I'm Japanese.
Wow, different cultures have different beliefs and morals? Woohoo! Imagine being so ignorant and close-minded you have the nerve to call the Japanese transphobes because they don't support your ideology. Crazy how far we have fallen as a society.
Just because it's in a different culture doesn't mean the bigotry is okay. Think about countries like Saudi Arabia who oppress women. Just because it's their culture doesn't mean it's okay to do.
In the Japanese release of the game, Vivian is heavily implied to be a trans woman, with Vivian's sisters constantly belittling her and misgendering her, and just overall being very transphobic to her. Aw, poor Vivian. And sadly, unlike Birdo, Vivian hasn't really made any appearances since then to really help mitigate these issues. What a shame. This one, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of sad to me because it just feels really realistic. You know, being chastised so heavily by your own family and flesh and blood.
Is that really true though? Like, I'm being dead serious. With all the support the Rainbow Mafia receives and how they are treated as a war veteran for coming out of the closet, are trans people really getting that much hate?
Yes!
Socialism is when the government does stuff. And it's more socialism, the more stuff it does. And if it does a real lot of stuff, it's communism.